What if the pain that women have been told to live with was not normal at all, but a disease that hides in plain sight? A condition affecting millions, yet so often misunderstood. This is endometriosis, a silent storm where the body's own tissue becomes misplaced, turning every cycle into a war within. Endometriosis occurs when endometrial tissue, the same kind that lines the uterus, grows outside of it. On the ovaries, fallopian tubes, and the pelvic walls. It affects up to 1 in 10 women of reproductive age, and in those suffering infertility or chronic pain, that number can climb as high as 50%. The symptoms? Crippling menstrual pain, irregular bleeding, fatigue, infertility, and an ache that medicine too often dismissed as normal. The most widely accepted explanation is called retrograde menstruation, when menstrual blood flows backward through the fallopian tubes into the pelvic cavity. Those living cells drift through the pelvis, settle on distant organs, and start behaving as if they still belong inside the uterus, bleeding, inflaming, and growing each month. But here's the mystery. Almost all women experience some retrograde flow, yet only a few develop endometriosis. So why them? The answer lies in the body's chemistry, in the enzyme aromatase, which converts testosterone into estradiol, a potent form of estrogen. In healthy tissue, aromatase stays silent. But in endometriotic lesions, it awakens, flooding the area with local estrogen that feeds their growth, inflammation, and pain. Even when systemic estrogen drops, these lesions survive, sustained by their own hormonal fire. A self-fueling cycle of pain and persistence. Then comes progesterone resistance, when cells no longer respond to the hormone meant to balance estrogen. In women with endometriosis, this resistance disrupts the body's harmony. Inflammation flares, lesions grow, adhesions form, and the body's natural rhythm, meant for creation, turns into a cycle of pain. Endometriosis isn't just hormonal, it's epigenetic, meaning the genes aren't broken, they're being misread. Environmental toxins, diet, stress, even trauma can alter how DNA expresses itself, silencing protective genes and amplifying those that inflame. These changes can even be passed down through generations, echoing through daughters and granddaughters. Pain, quite literally, encoded in memory. Diagnosis still depends on laparoscopy, direct visualization under the surgeon's lens. Lesions can be removed, cauterized, or suppressed with hormonal therapy. But even then, recurrence is common, and while surgery can improve fertility, the benefit remains modest. For many, the journey continues, toward understanding, relief, and hope. Endometriosis doesn't just cause pain. It touches the very foundation of creation, fertility itself. In the next chapter, we'll explore how this condition reshapes the landscape of conception, implantation, and the fragile miracle of life. Stay tuned for Part 2, Endometriosis and Fertility.
For millions of women, conception should be the beginning of life's most beautiful journey. But for those with endometriosis, the body's landscape has changed, scarred, inflamed, and unpredictable. It's not just pain anymore. It's biology at war with itself. Endometriosis alters the terrain of fertility. The misplaced tissue releases inflammatory molecules, cytokines, prostaglandins, immune mediators that disrupt the natural harmony of ovulation, fertilization, and implantation. The result? An environment where the egg struggles to mature, sperm lose their way, and the embryo can't find a home. The ovaries are the first to suffer. Inflammation distorts their rhythm, follicles fail to mature, eggs weaken, and ovulation becomes erratic or absent. Endometriomas, or ovarian cysts, develop, thick, tar-like pockets of blood that damage healthy tissue and interfere with hormone balance. This is not infertility by chance. It's infertility by inflammation. Next, the fallopian tubes. The bridge between egg and sperm become trapped in a web of scar tissue. Endometrial lesions release growth factors that harden into adhesions, bending and binding the tubes to surrounding organs. The pathways of conception close. Even when the egg is released, it may never meet the sperm waiting just beyond reach. Even when fertilization succeeds, implantation can fail. Endometriosis changes the molecular language of the uterus. the signals that whisper to an embryo, "You belong here." Integrins, cytokines, and growth factors misfire. The uterine lining becomes unreceptive, the embryo unable to anchor. The result is heartbreak, not in one moment, but repeated across months and years. Deep within the uterus, another rhythm breaks. The muscle walls, meant to move in harmony, begin to spasm. Hyperperistalsis and dysperistalsis, abnormal uterine contractions, disrupt everything from sperm transport to embryo positioning. Even mild endometriosis can distort this rhythm, turning the symphony of reproduction into static. Inflammation, hormonal imbalance, immune dysfunction, and physical distortion, together, they form the perfect storm against fertility. But where biology closes doors, science searches for keys. In the next chapter, we'll explore how medicine, surgery, and even pregnancy itself can reshape the course of endometriosis. Healing is possible, not yet a cure, but a reclamation. In Part 3, we'll uncover the treatments that fight back, from hormonal therapies that silence pain to surgical precision that restores hope. Join us for the conclusion: endometriosis, treatment and transformation. After years of pain, unanswered questions, and invisible battles, there comes a turning point. Endometriosis may not yet have a cure, but science, resilience, and compassion have changed the course of its story. This is where treatment begins. Because estrogen fuels the growth of endometriotic tissue, the first step is often to quiet its influence. Hormonal therapy becomes the body's recalibration, turning down the volume on chaos. Oral contraceptives smooth the hormonal waves. Progestin-only treatments suppress ovulation and thin the uterine lining. Meanwhile, GnRH agonists and antagonists bring the body into a temporary, reversible menopause, starving lesions of their fuel. But each therapy is a balance between relief and side effects, between silence and suppression. For some, it brings peace. For others, only a pause. When estrogen production persists locally, aromatase inhibitors step in, blocking the enzyme at its source. These therapies target the biochemical engine of endometriosis itself. Alongside them, NSAIDs like ibuprofen ease the inflammation that radiates through the pelvis. Pain subsides, not by masking it, but by slowing the storm beneath. When medication is not enough, surgery becomes both art and necessity. Through laparoscopy, keyhole incisions no larger than a pearl, surgeons navigate the hidden terrain of pain. They remove lesions, release adhesions, and restore the natural anatomy of the pelvis. For many women, this can mean relief from pain and renewed fertility. But endometriosis is resilient. Even after surgery, it can return. A reminder that this battle is chronic, not terminal. For some, pregnancy brings an unexpected reprieve. High levels of progesterone and reduced estrogen create a hostile environment for endometriotic growth. Lesions shrink, pain fades, the immune system calms. But this peace is temporary. After childbirth, as cycles resume, so can the symptoms. Pregnancy is not a cure. It is nature's brief truce. The long-term path of endometriosis is as individual as the women who live with it. For some, symptoms fade. For others, they return with quiet persistence. But every year brings new understanding, molecular targets, gene therapies, and regenerative approaches once unthinkable. What was once an invisible disease is now seen, studied, and spoken about. And in that visibility lies power. With menopause, estrogen levels fall, and the fire of endometriosis burns low. Lesions shrink, inflammation subsides, and many finally find relief. Yet for a few, remnants may linger dormant, sometimes reawakened by hormone therapy. Even then, vigilance replaces fear, because understanding transforms suffering into strength. Endometriosis is not a life sentence. It's a story of biology, rewritten by knowledge, courage, and care. From pain to awareness, from silence to science, the more we understand, the closer we move to a cure. And to the millions living with it, you are not alone. The future is already beginning within you.